We still are under the public comment section. Anybody wishing to address the board, please go to the mic and state your name, address, and
Patrick T. Jones, 1121 Jones Farm Lane. I am here to comment on the issue of the subdivision plan that is proposed by the Durban Association. That ugly snake has raised its head once again in the township, trying to encroach upon the residential area of the township. The last time around with this issue, Mr. Durbin asked Naomi why she was referring to him as the bad guy. And her response was very appropriate, because you are the bad guy. I will remind the board that the citizens of Logan Township do not want this development. They acted properly the last time around with the issue, and I congratulate Mr. Roa, and I expect the board made their decision based on the same facts that he did, that the code of conduct for the supervisors is to represent and do the bidding of the people of the township, not the special interests. I would expect the same to happen this time. Thank you.
okay, any other public comment? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to the business meeting. First would be the minutes from the September 22nd, 2011 meeting. Any additions or corrections? Is there a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion we approve.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 8, Penview Suites Planning Module and Land Development Plan, Resolution 1013-11D. Durbin Company's plans to construct 10 additional units in townhouse style on the Penview Suites property located between Penn Avenue and Grandview Road. This will make a total of 40 units on the site. This is a permitted use as the property is zoned industrial. Staff recommends approval of the plan with conditions in accordance with the attached resolution. The two modification requests are to not provide sidewalks along Grandview Road and the east side of Penn Avenue, and to not provide street trees along a portion of Penn Avenue. Sidewalks will be provided along the north side of Penn Avenue, and street trees will be provided along Grandview Road and a portion of Penn Avenue. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the plan at their meeting on October 3rd, 2011. Requested action, approval of the Penview Suites Planning Module and Land Development Plan in accordance with Resolution 1013-11D.
Take a breath.
Wow. Which of these would you like to act on separately?
8 and 11.
8 and 11? Any others? Okay. We have a motion then on items 1 through 7, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Make a motion we pass. I'll second that motion.
Any questions? Further discussion? Those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Number 8, Penview Suites Planning Module. Is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Discussion.
The question that I have is on the footprint of your property. Are there plans or future ideas of adding existing student housing units beyond what you're proposing today? Is there any more room on that property?
Not on that property. as to what we're proposing today, would finish out that property.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question here. Go ahead.
I was going to say, Cassandra, and that is zoned as an industrial property, so this is a permitted use within that property.
Correct.
Okay. Just clarifying so everybody knows.
Okay. My question was, we're talking about students, we're talking about safety, why not sidewalks?
We are putting in sidewalks.
Oh, you are? It says,
Jim,
sidewalks.
Well, no, Jim, on Grandview. I went out on Grandview.
Yeah.
The grade is like this to the guardrail.
If you'd like to see the prints, Mr. Patterson, I'd be happy to show you those.
No, I'll take his word.
You're putting them down below.
They're putting them at the other side.
Okay.
We're putting them
You're
where the
putting them walking
student,
down
we're
Grandview.
putting them actually where the students walk. They don't walk on Grandview Road.
Well, yes, they do. I live out there. Yes, they do.
Not my students.
Maybe not your student, but they do walk on the road, so let's make sure that we understand that. In regards to your parking for cars, are we well within the range of what's required for the parking container?
Yes.
And you're in agreement with all the stipulations that come out, of all the requirements come out of the planning commission that were required, recommended to us?
We work with the planning commission, yes, we agreed with them.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion, a second. Those in favor respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? David?
Two, number one, I'm encouraged by the amount of development we have seen here on the agenda here tonight, in a stagnant economy, stagnant business economy, for people to be investing in business in the township. It's very encouraging. Number two, concerning the Durbin Penview Suites item that we addressed here tonight, and Mr. Jones's comments. I understand why you could make that comment that this is the same subject matter that we're dealing with in student housing. But I see these as two separate cases. In this case, we have a company, and I think they do a very good job in doing what they do. And we had a piece of property that is currently actively involved in providing student housing and is already, as Ed brought up again, zoned industrial. In the other case, we were talking about the possibility of a zoning change. So even though that it's the same subject matter, and I can see how you could try to make that juncture there, I treat them as two separate cases.
Yeah, I'd like to jump on that too, because you made a comment, Pat, that the Durbins are bad guys. And I think the Durbins should be holding their heads up very high.
I will correct you,
What they do in the community.
Frank. I didn't make a comment that Durbin were bad guys.
Well, you brought
I
up.
made a comment that
You repeated.
Mr. Durbin asked Naomi last year why she was treating him like a bad guy. And her response was, because you are.
All right,
That was
well,
my comment.
I just need to make a comment. They're not the bad guys.
No.
I think the Durbins should hold their heads up high. They've done quite a bit in this community. I think they could say they've done more than most of us here. And I just feel bad that those things would be brought up. I know sitting on this board for all these years, it seems like when we get developers come in here, the people who oppose, I've heard them boo, I've heard them jeer, I've heard them do all kinds of things to, I'm not sure why developers would want to develop. It just seems like it creates such a negative atmosphere. Disagreeing with somebody is one thing, but to make it to a personal level is quite something different. And I just want you folks to know, I know many of us here don't view you as bad guys. And I'm sure the community doesn't either.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I would have to jump on Frank's ship there. I don't think you're bad guys, okay? I think you're businessmen who, or like any businessman, need to make a buck. And you have an area which, as everyone has pointed out, that you can do your student housing, and you do a very good job at student housing. When you have a complaint with us is when we won't rezone areas. But other than that, you've always come in here as professional and always acted as professional people. Which I'm grateful for, that you would even come back and want to expand a little bit in an area permitted, even though it's limited. And with all the qualifications that were required by our various ordinances in the zoning. Yeah, I never want to make anything personal. I just, is what we do, the best interest of the township and the people who live in the area. Not so you against us guys.
Any questions or comments from the public? Mr. Livermore, nice to see you
It's
here.
ironic, I wasn't going to say anything tonight, but since the Durbins are here and you're thanking them, they just completed a bit of a remodeling job for me and did an excellent job, and I'd like to thank them.
Since this is listed as a question period, I have a question of you, Frank. Why do you presume to chastise me when you're a public servant sitting up there to serve the public? I did not personally attack the Durbins. What they've done is fine. I simply cited some historical comments that were made concerning the issue of student housing in the past.
And you clarified.
I did not make any derogatory comments about the Durbins. You misinterpreted that and twisted it to suit yourself to chastise me. I don't appreciate that. And if you want comments from the public on issues, stop doing it. Now, you can explain to me why you would take the position of chastising somebody for trying to give you information and make public comment on issues.
Well, I just felt that the comment about bad guys, whether it was historical perspective or whatever, was inappropriate. You, sir, made the comment, which you had the right to do, and I, as a board member, have a right to make comments. All right? And that's been shown even through court cases that board members can make public comments. And that's what I did. And I'll continue to do that. If you like my comments, that's great. If you don't like them, that's your opinion. But I'll continue to make them. Just as you can continue making comments here at this board meeting.
And I am not making any personal, I'll tell the Durbins to your face, Mr. Durbin, I am not making a personal comment against you. I am addressing a public issue that you happen to be involved in. You understand that?
Not how I took the comments, but I understand.
I'm not here for my own profit. I'm not here for your benefit. I'm here as a citizen expressing my comments.
Okay, well, you were given that opportunity, and thank you for making your comment. All right, any other comment?
Yes, I'd like to just say something in regard to, as far as student housing, Scott, you made the comment at the Planning Commission meeting. I shouldn't say a comment. You made a statement that the township residents are against student housing. We are not against student housing. Please understand that. You made an investment and I made an investment. My property means as much to me as what investment you made with your property. But understand that you as a developer is where I have an issue, because the properties that are zoned R1 need to stay R1. That's where I invested my money. I worked at the railroad for years, and I'm getting ready to retire. And, you know, as far as the zoning and rezoning, now the property that you're developing now, you set that up, and that's commercial property there, and I mean, you're doing what you need to do with it. But I mean, as far as us being against student housing, we're not against student housing. We're against the fact that you're trying to bring the student housing right on top of us, where the zoning is already R1. Now, just as a question, where you live at is R2 zone. Would you consider putting student housing in your backyard?
There's no way to get to where I'm at.
Well, yeah, and then really these comments should be addressing the board, not each
I'm
other.
sorry.
You can have your discussions outside.
All right, sorry.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, any other public comment? Hearing none, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Hold on. 68%.
Wants to speak to the matter? I guess just briefly,